Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to read you this book called If You Come to Earth. Looks like the little kid on the cover has a great imagination. Wonder what this story is about. Wow. Look like aliens of all sorts, don't they? If You Come to Earth by Sophie Blackall. Dear visitor from outer space, if you come to Earth, here's what you need to know. You can find us near a big sun and a tiny moon and a bunch of other planets. Ours is the greeny blue one. The green and brown bits are land. And the blue stuff, well, that's water. People mostly live on the land in big cities and small towns and tiny villages, or just in the middle of nowhere. Can you see that house in the middle of nowhere right there? I wonder who lives there. We live in all kinds of homes. There's quite a variety. Does anybody see a home that looks like theirs? Pretty cool. In all kinds of families. Do you see a family that looks like yours? I think my favorite family is the one where the mom and dad are taking a nap. That looks fun. There are more than 7 billion people on Earth. We all have bodies, but every body is different. Except for my friends who are identical twins and look the same, except for Mustafa's mole. Can you see that? The boys look exactly the same, except one has a mole on his neck. I have twin granddaughters who pretty much look exactly the same. Inside our heads, we are usually thinking. You can't see our thoughts, but sometimes we show our feelings on our face. Are there any feelings you see there that you can recognize? I see one feeling that looks mad, and I see one that looks happy. I see one that looks sad. I see one that looks surprised. What do you guys see? And if we don't feel like it, we get dressed. Oh, and even if we don't feel like it, sorry, we get dressed every day. We wear different clothes depending on what we do and where we live and if it's hot or cold. There's lots of different weather in the world. Some of it is good and some of it's bad. Wherever people live, we usually have to go someplace else. And there are lots of ways to get there. So let's see, I see boats as one way. And then I see people walking or riding bikes or skiing or skateboarding. And there's all sorts of different cars, a train. What do you see that looks like fun? I am a kid, and kids go to school to learn stuff. So we'll know what to do when we're grown up. Grown-ups do lots of things to make the world work. I see all sorts of different professions there. Let's look at a couple. I see an astronaut and a beekeeper and a Supreme Court justice. I think that's Ruth Bader Ginsburg there. And I see a banana and a ballerina and a veterinarian and a cab driver and a chef and a mommy and fireman. What do you see? Maybe something there that you'd like to be when you grow up. Lots of choices. But when people are not at work or at school or sick or asleep, we get to do whatever we want. Whatever we're doing, we need to eat when we're hungry. Some of us have more food than others. We all need food and water to survive. This looks like a fun table, doesn't it? Because there's all sorts of different people around it. And it shows us that all around the earth, people like to eat different kinds of food. We get water from the rain, which flows into little streams and big rivers and all the way to the sea. You can't drink the seawater because it's too salty. The sea looks empty, but actually it's full. Fish can swim, but they can't walk. Isn't it fun to see all the fish that are under the ocean? Many, many different kinds. And a turtle, and a seal, and a jellyfish. Oh my goodness. Most animals can walk, or swim, or gallop, or hop, but they can't fly. Wait a minute, I see there's a bat there, and he's saying I can fly. Some birds can swim, and walk, and fly. So if I had to choose, I'd be a bird. Birds can sing, and so can whales. And people. People make all kinds of music on our own and all together. Some of us who are deaf talk with our hands and faces. Some of us who are blind read with our fingers. If we are blind, we can imagine colors as shapes and sounds. These are the colors you need to paint everything in the world. Some things are part of nature. What are a few things we see there? I see a tree and a snake and a feather and an acorn and a grasshopper and a bee. And some things are made by people. So I see a television and a soccer ball and a teacup and a sewing machine and a camera Many of you may not be familiar with the camera that's in this picture because lots of you, I bet, think of a camera as only something that's in your phone. So the camera on this page is an old-fashioned camera. And I see a button and a hanger and an arrow. What else is there? Anyhow, all of those things are made by people. Some things are big. I see a big ship, and I think a dinosaur and the Eiffel Tower. And some things are really small, like a match and a button and a penny. Some things are invisible, like wind. Can't see wind, can you? Or ghosts. An invisible cloak. Gravity. Electricity. Interesting, right? We know electricity exists, but we can't really see it. The smell of roasted chicken, old socks, and wet wool. Sound waves and germs. Those are all invisible. Some germs can make you sick. So can eating a woolly milk-capped toadstool, or breathing in smoke, or getting spat on by a slow loris. Sometimes you get hurt by accident. Sometimes we hurt each other. It's better when we help each other. Don't you agree with that? It feels so much better to help each other than to hurt each other. Babies are not very good at anything. Kids are good at lots of things. And grown-ups can do just about anything until they are really, really old. But then the babies are grown up and they can help. Older people are good at telling stories about the world when they were young. Kids are good at making up stories that haven't happened yet. There are lots of things that we don't know. We don't know where we were before we were born, or where we go when we die. But right this minute, we are here together on this beautiful planet. If you come to Earth, you can stay in my room. Love, Quinn. P.S. How many eyes do you have? Are you small or big? Do you have any pets? When is your birthday? Is it always dark where you are? Are you going to visit us? My friends and I want to know. The end. So it looks like that message went to outer space. What a fun story to think about what it's like to explain Earth to someone who's from someplace else. I really enjoyed that book. The pictures were magnificent. And I loved thinking about all those things. Hope you enjoyed that story too. Have a great rest of the day and come back so I can read to you soon. Bye for now, everyone.